Welcome to REWIR, presented by SOPHRAXIA. My name is Christopher, and I'll be your guide tonight. And thanks for joining me this evening as we continue our focus on staying steady. And so last week we talked about staying steady in terms of thoughts. How do we stay steady through the thoughts that arise? A little bit of a self-doubt we talked about, lack of confidence, just the weird things that come up and how to have the courage to move through that. And this week we'll talk about how do we stay steady with emotions that arise. And so let's jump into it. Some days we just wake up and just feel different, off, good, bad, joy, restless, might wake up feeling impatient, might wake up feeling just great, excited. And some days you could just wake up feeling gloomy. And if I can be honest, this week, some just woke up and felt gloomy. No particular reason, no obvious cause. Took some time to reflect, pretty positive. There's nothing. It's just one of those things. And it's just part of being human. And one of the more examples I think about when it comes to that is weather. The emotions of the mind is like weather passing through the sky. Sometimes it might be clear and sunshiny. Other days it might be cloudy and gloomy. No particular reason, no particular cause. It's just something that happens. And it's easy to kind of get into comparison too, where you think, where did this come from? I shouldn't feel this way. Why do I feel this way? I shouldn't be sad. I shouldn't feel the way that I do. There's nothing to be gloomy about. And it can kind of circle you around in thoughts about thoughts. But that's exactly what it is. It's more thoughts about thinking. Because when we recognize it, you can recognize that the emotion is present, note it, feel gloomy, feel excited. Doesn't matter what the emotion is. Sometimes we tend to notice the negatives more than the positive. And in my example, being gloomy is there. And then we return to whatever we're doing and continue with the day. Because in terms of weather, if we compare today's weather to yesterday's sunshine, it can be a why? It's nothing's changed. It's the day's changed. It's different weather. Today this is the weather and that was yesterday's. Um, and that's all that it is. So we're simply noticing the weather and the mind is experiencing different weather. It doesn't mean that something's wrong. It just means that we're human. Because one of the biggest mistakes when it comes to feeling steady is that believing or falling into the trap that we should feel that way every day. And it is a trap because it's a comparison. The comparison is the trap itself because when we think about what we do here in SOPHRAXIA and in this training, we know through experience, we know through observation of ourselves that each breath is different. But they feel familiar. Each breath feels similar. They couldn't get any more similar, really, but they are distinct in their own way. Each breath is different. Each day is different. And each mood is different. Everything changes all the time. So we might think that we wake up in the morning and look in the mirror, feel good. You wake up the next day, look in the mirror, don't feel so good. And it might appear the same, but so much has changed. It's a different day. It's a whole nother time and another perceptions and experiences and things that can happen between those moments that make it seem similar, but not the same. And so when we fight the emotion, when we do the old, well, you shouldn't feel that way, or meet it with resistance, it creates tension in the mind. And that can feel also really heavy. More thinking about thinking, and resistance, a resistance to the way that you are right now, the way that you're thinking right now, the way that you're feeling right now. And that tension can become rather defeating because when we engage with it and we recognize it, we note it as it is, and we return to what we're doing, there's a sense of a lightness because we've taken care of it. There's a sense of being able to move forward with it because we're being honest. And when it comes to resistance, that the tension can be there because we're not allowing something to be as it is. We're changing it to how we wish it were. And one of them is how it is, and the other one is not. The other one's an illusion, really. It's a perception, but one is an actual feeling. It'd be no different than if you went outside on a and just like yelled at the sky for the clouds to clear. Not really going to do anything. It's going to leave you exhausted, and it's not going to change anything. So when it comes to staying steady with emotions, the R&R works just the same as anything else, as when we're attaching it to the mind. We recognize the feeling that's there about our emotion. We note it as what it is, and then we come back to the breath. And what it is the awareness is always there. The awareness remains. It's something that we can either engage with and we can approach and see it for what it is, or it's something that we can resist and and that's just it goes back to what we said before. It's a drain on the energy and it can feel really heavy. And when we take a look at the mind and we sit with emotions and moods, it is really helpful to look at them as weather passing through the sky. Some days it will be clear and sunny. Some days we might prefer the weather. Just like some days you wake up and like, oh, it's a cloudy day, rainy day tonight, perfect. So if we can look at those things and one day prefer it and the other day not, what's changed? Nothing really. It's our perception of it and our relationship to it. So um, keep that in mind as we continue our practice of staying steady, that thoughts and emotions will appear. And that's okay. Let them come, let them go. We engage with them, we note them, we recognize them, and we keep moving forward. And that's part of staying steady, especially when it comes to emotions, because balance and steadiness, and as we progress or move forward, can feel unfamiliar. It can feel so unfamiliar that we unbalance ourselves, that we do something because the feeling of steadiness or the feeling of balance just it feels unfamiliar. Or maybe we're doing something new. Maybe we're doing a new project, a new work, moving through life, doing something, and we've never really been there before. Even if it feels familiar, even if it feels like a place or something or a circumstance or a challenge that we faced before, it's new every time. Every day is a new day. Every weather is new, different. Every thought is different. Every breath is different, even though it can feel very familiar. So when it comes to staying steady, let's keep that in mind. That that emotions, just like weather, can come and go and pass in our mind. And today's training, we will do a visualization, and that's because we'll get more familiar with. The goal of this training is to become more familiar with that feeling of calm, composed, confidence that is always there, like the sky. It's it's always blue. All the only thing that's different is the weather that's visible to us, but above it is something different. It's always blue. Same thing for us. Um, that place of peace and of calm, of composed confidence is always there too. So with that, let's train. Wherever you are, sit up straight, nice, comfortable, eyes open, nice, soft focus. And a few deep breaths. And with the next out breath, just let the eyes close. Sitting up straight. We'll start with some box breathing. So inhale, 2, three, four. Hold. Two. Exhale. Two, three, four. Hold. Two, three. Inhale. Hold. Two, three, four. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Last breath. Exhale. Let's return our breath to normal. Sitting up straight. Hands in the lap or on the legs. Feeling the weight of the body on the floor or seat, wherever you are. No more movement or fidgeting. And we're going to rest the attention on the breath. On the inhale and the exhale. Let any sounds move through you. Rest the attention on the expansion. As you inhale, as the chest retracts as you exhale. Make a note of any mood of the mind. Just observing, not trying to change anything. And the breaths, are they long, short, deep, or shallow? And I want you to picture a waterfall above your head, flowing liquid sunlight, and you're the vase, the vessel it's filling up. As it flows down, starting at the top of your head, begins to fill up, starting from your toes. And with it is this quality, warmth, of lightness, of spaciousness, as it just fills up, starting with your toes. Moving now to your ankles. It's warm, bright, liquid sunlight. Moving up to your calves, heading towards the knees. As it moves through the thighs, towards the hips. Brings with it the qualities of lightness, brightness, spaciousness. It moves to the hips and up to the stomach and the lower back. These qualities of calm, composed, confidence. Still noticing the breath, sense of inhalation and exhalation. As it fills up through the middle of the chest, towards the upper chest. And begins to go down both arms. From the fingers and the wrists, forearms and the elbows. Towards the upper arms, and the shoulders. continues to fill up to the neck, the jaw, the face, and the head. As you almost fill that warm liquid sunlight. And as it fills your whole body, it starts to overflow. It brings with it that feeling of warmth, calm, composed confidence. Feeling of spaciousness, and a clarity. As your whole body overflows. Now just let your mind be free. If it wants to think, let it think. No restrictions. And bring your attention back to the body. Back to any sounds around you. Any smells. Feeling of weight. As you gently open your eyes. You have a stretch if that feels right for you. And so, as we move on, as you move throughout your day, and we're talking about weather and moods, there's want to be careful about the compare. There's a difference between observing and comparing. And there's a difference between observing and comparing and then judging. As we look at the weather between two different days, or the mood between two different days, it's okay to say, today's not as bright as yesterday. Uh, today's not as dark as yesterday. But when we get into adding those storylines, that I shouldn't be feeling this way, or I need to stop being anxious, or I shouldn't be sad, or why am I so gloomy? Those are thoughts. And when we recognize them and they're distracting us, and we note them and we return to what we're doing, that's the skill. And it's to come to practice and to engage and sit, even though we feel those days, just like we have to go through the day, no matter the weather. But observing without judgment is also the skill. So carry that with you as you move through the rest of your day today and the rest of your week. And I have one question for you, and for your reflection. Let's see. Now, what kind of weather has your mind been experiencing lately? Explore that if you want. Take some time to reflect on it. What weather has your mind been experiencing lately? And remember, you can always come back to that feeling of calm, composed confidence that is always there, just like the sky. So, next week, we'll continue with our focus on staying steady. My name is Christopher. Thank you for joining me for Rewire, presented by SOPHRAXIA, and I look forward to seeing you again. Have a good day.